Agaka, and I'm going to be doing a demonstration today on how to cook seared ahi tuna with a mango salsa. And I picked this dish this morning because I thought it would be great for all of you with cardiovascular disease, since ahi tuna actually is it has no saturated fats and it's low in other fats. And it also has omega-3 fats, which is very good for you. The salsa actually has a lot of great antioxidants and a lot of vitamins, so it's perfect for all of you with your cardiovascular disease. So I'm going to do this recipe in 2 steps. First, I'm going to go ahead and make the salsa, and then I'm going to sear the tuna, and that way the tuna is still warm when I serve it. This is an absolutely easy dish, which is why I love it. And there's really not a whole lot of measuring out that you need to do. So what I've got here is some red onion. And if you don't like red onion, or red onion is too strong for you, you can actually substitute it with shallots, for example, which is still the same color and still has some of the health benefits, but it's a lot less strong, a lot less pungent. But I really like red onion, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that in. I've got some red bell pepper, which has some beautiful color, especially in contrast with the mango, which is kind of the main portion of the salsa. And then we've got some cilantro. And I've got a little bit of jalapeno here, which again gives great color, but it also gives a little bit of a kick. And then lastly, I've got some orange I'm going to put in, and I'm going to put some lime juice. So I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons of red onion that's already been diced. And I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of the red bell pepper. I'm going to add about a 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of the mango. Again, it's already been diced up, so it's ready to go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cilantro. You can add as much as you want. I personally love cilantro. I think it's got great flavor and great color, but certainly you can add as much as you want. And then I've got some jalapeno. And again, if you don't like a lot of spice, a lot of heat, I would recommend maybe using a little bit less. I've got probably about 1/2 diced up, and I'm probably only going to use about 1/2 of that. So it's really about 1/4 of a jalapeno. And then I'm going to show you a technique this morning. Have any of you ever done orange segments or any type of citrus segments, also called citrus supreme? Nobody? As what? Boy?
No, nothing.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. This is a really simple technique, and it gets all the juices and all of the segments out really nicely and very cleanly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the edges, just like that. I'm going to do that on both sides. Look at those. And then you're basically going to stand it on one end so it's nice and sturdy. And then you're going to take your knife and you're going to cut around. So you're basically taking all of the outside off, which is quite bitter, so I wouldn't recommend leaving that on. Now, do you see okay? See how I'm taking out all the outside? And this is great for adding any type of citrus to a salad. You can certainly do this with limes. You can do this with lemons. But I love the flavor of orange. And if you still have some of the pith, this white stuff on the outside, you can just kind of go back through and clean it up until you get the majority of it off. See how nice and clean that is? And then what you want to do is over the bowl, so you can capture the juices, you want to basically cut on the inside here. And what you're doing is you're basically removing it so it's nice and clean. And then you're also capturing the juices, which we'll use for the salsa. So while I'm cutting through the rest of this, does anyone have any questions so far?
You mentioned antioxidants a few times. What are those and why are they useful?
Antioxidants are great for basically fighting against free radicals. So in your body, you've got a lot of things going on with your cells, and what you want to do with antioxidants is basically protect those cells from doing bad things. So kind of on a more general level. So they're really great for you. And there are a lot of antioxidants in all kinds of fruits and vegetables, which is why they're just one great reason why they're so healthy for you.
Is there any specific antioxidant you should focus on?
You know, to be honest with you, I think any of the antioxidants will help you fight off, disease and help you with free radicals. I don't know if there's any specific ones that I would recommend. I would just say eat as many fruits and vegetables as possible, especially since all of you have cardiovascular disease, and that will help to keep you healthier. Okay, then I've segmented through. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze the juices in here. And then I'm also going to squeeze a little bit of lime. That gives you a little bit of that tart flavor. And another technique is with lime, sometimes, especially if they're in the refrigerator, they get kind of hard and they're hard to get the juice out. A couple things you can do is take it out and leave it sit at room temperature. The other thing you can do is kind of roll it against the board, and it actually kind of breaks it up a little bit on the inside. Then when you cut it open, it's a lot easier to juice. So I'm going to take half of a lime and juice it in here. And then the only other thing that I need to do is add a little bit of salt and pepper. And if you don't like a lot of salt, you don't have to add a lot of salt. I'm just going to add a little bit, like a pinch, for some flavor, and just a tad bit of pepper. And I'm going to go ahead and stir that around. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to turn on my burner so that gets going. Because when you sear any meat, you want to make sure that the pan is very hot so that it sears nicely on the outside. It gives a really nice browning. So as you can see with the salsa, look at how gorgeous that color is. It's very healthy. It looks very appetizing. So basically the salsa is done. And then to prepare the tuna, I've got probably about a 3 to 4 ounce piece of tuna here that's already cut, and the skin is actually taken off. And one thing I'm going to do is season that on both sides just so that when it does sear, it gives a good flavor. I'm going to put just a little bit of salt. And again, if you don't like a lot of salt, or if you've got high blood pressure and you don't want to eat a lot of salt, you can certainly put a little bit less. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper as well. And I think my pan should be just about hot. And you can see I've got a fair amount of oil in here. I'm actually going to get rid of a little bit of that. Oh, yes, question?
If I don't want to use salt, can I use something else?
Yes. If you want to use, there are those salt replacers. There are several of the salt replacers, such as like a Mrs. Dash. That might give you flavor. The other thing you can do is just use seasonings. Any seasonings, like for example, I used jalapeno in here, but you could certainly use like a cayenne pepper or like a chipotle or something if you wanted to give it some flavor and you don't want that sodium. So yeah, anything to kind of rub on there to make it, kind of flavorful on the outside would be great. Yes?
Thanks for the question.
Okay, great. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and sear the tuna. So you can see my pan is really hot. And I'm just going to place this in. You want to make sure you place it in away from you so it doesn't burn you. And the nice thing about tuna is it's really fast. You don't want to cook it too long because it could get tough. And it's something that you can actually even eat raw. And I don't know if you've ever had tuna poke or any sashimi. In fact, this past weekend we had a big piece of tuna on a boat, and the guy was just slicing off pieces raw, and we were just eating it like sashimi, and it was delicious. So you want to make sure you don't cook it too much. You probably can't really see, but the tuna already has a little bit of brown on the one side. So at that point, you kind of want to flip it over. And I recommend only cooking it for 30 seconds to a minute on each side. That way you still get the pink in the middle, you still get that tenderness in the middle, but you get the nice browning and the nice searing on the outside. So I'm actually going to turn off the burner because it's almost ready. Just with the residual heat, it's just about ready. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and plate up here. And you can plate this any way you want, but I'm going to go ahead and plate it just with the salsa at the bottom. And you can put a nice mound of salsa here. And then take your tuna, which is just nice and brown on the outside, and you see how on this side you can see the pink in the middle. That means it's still got a little bit of that tenderness. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and place it right on top, and there you have it. Ahi tuna with a fresh mango salsa.